Hello everyone, I'm back again with another Vroid Studio tutorial. Today I will be teaching you how to make a knitted hat or a beanie or like a slouch hat, whatever you'd like to call it. In the past, my method for making these hats was just... and there you go. Like that was pretty much my strategy for a while. Obviously a little bit more quality control than that, but yeah, they were, I hadn't quite figured it out until fairly recently how to best do this, and now that I have it figured out, I'd like to share with you all. A quick thing I'm gonna do, and you can do as well, is make the ears a little smaller. So can I? Yeah, so they don't clip through the hat. It makes it a little easier to get them over the hat that way. Now the first step is to get the base for the hat. At least the hats that I wear generally have a sort of like rim that goes all the way around like this, and so keeping with that, that's where we'll start. We'll conform there. What you want to do is get hair shape to be rectangular, and then have mirroring on makes it a little easier, and then you just gotta do a little trial and error until you get the results you want. But eventually you should end up with something like this. Just let me make a few more little adjustments. Yeah, there we go. Should end up with something like this. That doesn't look like much yet, but this is the start of our hat. Now, next freehand group, I'm gonna want to expand this shape out a bit. Then press this in. You can see the shape of the grid. The grid, you can just try to adjust it so it is all inside the confines of the rim of the hat. Turn off mirroring as well. You can just push this stuff in. There we go. And then from there, you're going to want to change the shape of your hair again into sort of a diagonal like this. Oh, turn mirroring back on, and you're just gonna wanna go like that. Don't worry about it being perfect just yet, you can always adjust it. Here. What can help when doing shapes like these, where you have to have everything meet at a point, is to just put a hair there that you'll just delete after, so you know where to have everything meet. So you just go in, try to get them all to meet at that point. Then you can delete that point. Alright. As you can see, it is sort of taking on the shape of a hat. You can always make adjustments. You can always adjust this part as well. You can always adjust everything, essentially. See, there's a lot of sort of trial and error here of just figuring out what looks good and what doesn't. Sort of the name of the game of working with Vroid is just figuring it out. Alright, you see you have the shape of your hat. You have the general stuff down, but it still doesn't look great. And that's because of the textures, honestly. So what you must do from here is go into your textures. Now, if you look at some of my other tutorials, I will tell you to turn off shade width, shade hardness, essentially turn off the shading, because I think, just personally, that Vroid's default shaders aren't very good. However, that is just my preference. I also like to turn off on the face as well, and also the rim light. I don't like how it looks. Alright, now moving on, back to the hair. Essentially what you're going to want to get from the hair here is a knitted texture. You can import this from an image, or you can make it yourself. I personally think it's easy to make it yourself. Also turn off highlighting, essentially make that black, because the highlighting will default to a hair shape. Now, essentially knitted patterns look a bit like this. This is a very rough sort of pattern, but making it yourself is a good thing, or if you can find a sort of public domain image texture. It's just, you don't want to just rip a picture off of Google and use that, especially if you want to take commissions or make a sort of profit off your work. You don't want to get tied up in like a copyright dispute. Don't worry about how it looks so far. You can always adjust the textures. Alright. Now you should do the whole texture like this part too, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to stop here so we can move on. And alright. You can see now it has a knitted texture to it. Now, what would probably look even better is if we sort of shaded it a little bit. Go down, do multiply. And then you see? And look at that! It's a knitted hat. There's a lot you can do by just messing around with the textures, so if you don't like the result, you can always mess with it a little more to get exactly what you want, but as soon as you learn how to manipulate Vroid Studio, it becomes very versatile. But yeah, thanks for watching.